This is the Super Bowl 57 pregame show featuring Empty the Bench and Game on the Empty the Bench Network. The countdown to Chiefs-Eagles starts now. Here's Tom Albano, Nick Morgasen, Johnny Montalbano, and Hank Indictor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Super Bowl Eve. All right, here we go. Johnny Montalbano, Tom Albano, Hank Indictor, Nick Morgasen. Super Bowl 57 tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Chiefs Eagles. All right, a lot of headlines. Some for the Super Bowl, some not for the Super Bowl. This is going to be a good game, gentlemen.
It's like you said, it's Super Bowl Eve. It's kind of like Christmas time. Well, this Christmas time for football fans.
But at least there's no coal in your stocking.
Well, the coal in your stocking depends on how the game goes. If it's a one-sided blowout, that's going to feel like coal.
But just to let everybody know, we are live. I know, we don't do live content we haven't done live content since when, Tom? It's been...
The Jets-Jaguars Thursday Night Football stream, Week 16, right before Christmas.
When's the last time we did a live show?
Well, technically, that's what I said. The Jets-Jaguars...
Oh, no. I meant actual live podcast episode. It's been years, right?
Years. However, Zan and I did an unofficial episode when we had the breaking news stream with the whole Francis Ngannou, John Jones situation, and we were on for like 55 minutes.
Okay. So we'll we're here. We're going to break down Super Bowl 57, everything from the gambling lines to the storylines to the prop bets, which are my favorite every year, to everything in between. And yes, Broncos country will make an appearance again on the live stream.
Why you gotta go and spoil it?
No, I didn't say what though. I just said it's gonna come back. We didn't say when or where it's gonna come back. So
it could come back within the next few seconds.
Yeah, well, it's a mystery box.
It could be anything.
It could be a boat.
It could pop up at any time.
But all right, so here we go. Let's get started. We'll do some of the headlines before the game. Of course, in my opinion, this is not my favorite thing about Super Bowl week, but we're going to do it first. So the NFL awards and honors will be first. So first of all, does anybody watch the show?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I didn't watch it either. I could give two you-know-whats about it at this point.
At the risk of sounding old, even though I'm young, it started way too late.
What time did it start?
It started after 9 o'clock on Thursday.
Eastern?
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the awards shows. It's kind of just like, eh.
I mean, I get why you have to do it because after the game, it's kind of like what they've been doing with the Pro Bowl. You know, after the Super Bowl, you know, people are not going to really care about any football stuff. I mean, you're running off the high of the game. So after that, you know, the next thing with the NFL you're focusing on is the off season, really. So I get why you have to do it that week. Plus, you know, you have 2 weeks to fill. I mean, the NFL needs something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So we'll get into the awards. I mean, some of the big ones that matter. So NFL MVP, Patrick Mahomes. Are we really surprised?
No.
Yes and no. I was curious. I mean, I didn't see if there was a breakdown in the voting, but we had talked. I mean, I talked about it, Nick, with you on Game On this week that you know, this was probably Mahomes' the worst Chiefs team that he's had to deal with in his career so far, and look where they are. They're still playing for a Super Bowl in the third one in his young career.
I mean, it's all good and whatever, but you got to win. I mean, they were talking about dynasty and all that stuff, and dynasty matters if you win a Super Bowl.
Well, isn't it amazing, Susan, that we could call a 14-3 team Patrick Mahomes' worst?
I remember going into
the volume, the talent that Patrick Mahomes.
Well, no. I'm not saying I disagree with you guys. I'm just saying, isn't it amazing? That just shows you how good Patrick Mahomes is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair when you see the kind of throws and the kind of plays that he develops and puts out there for his team.
I mean, the miracle throws that this guy makes from game to game and time to time is just insane in all those ways. I mean, he's going to win many more MVPs. I don't know how much. What is that? 2 for him now, or was that 1, or what is that for him?
Well, I think there was a stat out that he's the youngest to win an MVP. I think it's 2 and a Super Bowl ring before 30, and he's only 27.
Right.
It's still crazy to think about that he's just to keep in perspective that he's only 27 years old. And look where he's at. He's playing in his 3rd Super Bowl on Sunday.
Which is insane. And if he wins, I mean, I think he already was a Hall of Famer, but if he wins Sunday, he's a shoo-in automatically.
Well, somebody, I forget who said it. I forget who said it, but somebody said on Twitter that it was some insider that he could retire after the Super Bowl, and he'd probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
So he's gonna pull the Sean McVay.
Probably not. No.
Well, actually, let me take that back. It wasn't really a Sean McVay because he came back to coach.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, as a starting quarterback, not counting that one season where he was sitting behind Alex Smith, but as a starting quarterback, he hasn't been eliminated any earlier since the AFC Conference Championship game. It's always been AFC Conference Championship game, Super Bowl loss, or Super Bowl win in his postseason career.
Right. I mean, what was one of them again? Tom Brady. I mean, like,
yeah.
So it is what it is. I mean, this was probably the most obvious award to win in the honors. All right, Offensive Player of the Year again. Not a shocker.
I have been saying this since what, week 5, week 6, week 7.
Yeah. This one is obvious. I mean, even though the Vikings are a dumpster fire and their defense can't block the backside of a barn, he's still the Offensive Player of the Year.
Kirk Cousins was his quarterback. Shouldn't that definitely help elevate him in that category? I would say so.
I mean, can you imagine if he had like a top 5 quarterback, what his numbers would be?
I think if he had a top 5,
we'd probably be seeing him do the gritty a lot more.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, especially with the situation going on in Buffalo with Stephon Diggs, where he basically ran out on the team after they won. I think Justin Jefferson, I think they made the proper choice in Minnesota when that whole thing went down.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll go to the other side. Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa. Not surprised, right?
That's right. Right choice. Yep.
San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco just had an unfortunate ending, but
yeah. Well, and we'll see how
that team boat raced them.
We'll see how that kind of affects their offseason. I mean, they're going to have an interesting situation this offseason when you're looking at, they basically have an offseason quarterback controversy where you've got Purdy, you've got Trey Lance, who they drafted and has been hurt and hasn't been, up to performance, and then Jimmy G, who has been all reliable.
Well, Tom, I'm curious, and I want to get you and Hank's thoughts on this because this is a topic that Nick and I talked about on episode 42 of Game On Tuesday. What do you take about Kyle Shanahan's comments that he does not see any scenario where Jimmy G is on the 49ers in 2023?
I think it's a really, really stupid thing to say because at this point, Trey Lance has been hurt. Brock Purdy has been doing well, but who's to say that Brock Purdy doesn't absolutely degress next season? Jimmy G has been like I said, you're all reliable. Jimmy G has been, he's not the greatest quarterback. He's always a decent to good backup. And that you're saying, oh, he's just not going to be around, and you're showing your cards to your.
I think Tom's going in and out there. Hank, what do you think, though?
I mean, yeah, 18.5 sacks. I think that's definitely a good enough total to give him Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, really, other cases, I guess, could be made for Hassan Reddick, but then again, he plays on a defensive line that is absolute, dominant. Nick Bosa, on the other hand, 18 and a half sacks. Yeah, it speaks for itself.
I'm sorry, did I cut out during my...
Yeah, what were you saying, though, Tony, if you want to finish?
Okay, what was the last thing you guys heard me said?
Well, you were talking about how you thought it was silly that his thoughts.
Oh, I was basically saying that it's stupid because he's showing his hand basically to his competitors, which is something that you just don't do.
I mean, it was just such a dumb statement, and Johnny's heard me say this a million times, that one, what the hell is wrong with you as the head coach of a team that's actually going to compete for the next couple of years? You have a great offensive core. Your quarterback situation will eventually resolve itself, but you're going to get rid of a quarterback that can actually play football, and you're going to say he doesn't fit
I'm
in the
sorry,
roster?
Nick, did you do the punching sound effect?
Yes. Why? And
Nick,
why?
did you do the punching sound effect?
Yes, why?
I think I need to top you on that one. And for the 49ers to basically be complaining about, oh, maybe it should have been them. I liked what Earl French Tree said. Yeah, and then next season the football gods will curse you with a 6-11 team.
We kind of wonder with the Brock Purdy injury, and if he does need to go undergo the knife, go under the knife. That's what I'm trying to say.
Tommy John surgery.
Well, see, and the time frames on the time frame on that has been, you've heard two different things. You've heard 6 months. Somebody said a year, but who's to say also that he's not a 1-year wonder, Brock Purdy?
Exactly.
And then you're going to rely on Trey Lance, who I know you traded multiple draft picks up to get with the number 3 overall pick a couple of years ago. But Trey Lance has thrown fewer. Here's an interesting. You want a fun fact, Hank? I'm going to steal a fun fact for you. Trey Lance in his college and pro career has thrown fewer passes in that amount of time frame than 17 quarterbacks did this year. And now you only say that because it's become a passing league in the NFL. Yes, you need your running backs, and yes, we all know the 49ers have McCaffrey. They've got Deebo Samuel out of the backfield, but I mean, you need to know how to throw the ball too. So right. 49ers, that's going to be a very interesting team to watch in the offseason because of the whole quarterback situation. And if Brock Purdy, I think they're saying maybe late February if he's going to go for surgery. So
February 22nd or 23rd, I think.
That was, I think, the date that I heard, the 22nd. And if that's the case, and let's just say it's 6 months, I mean, you're going into late August, and that's if everything goes well. And we still don't even know. He could be rusty coming off of that. And again, second year in the league, teams could start to figure you out. So
it's like baseball where the rookie comes up, everyone can't hit him, and then you get the scouting reports and you're like, oh wait, I could throw him a curveball and he's going to strike out every time. I mean, that's the whole Aaron Judge thing. When Aaron Judge came up as a rookie, he was hitting home runs all over the place, and then once people started figuring out they could throw him off speed stuff, he was chasing, and then he had to stop chasing, and that's what turned it around for him. But I don't know. It's an odd situation in San Francisco. All right, I'll go to the 3 Giants fans in the room here. NFL Coach of the Year. Have at it.
This to me, there's no question that Brian Daboll's the Coach of the Year, because when I look at Coach of the Year, I look at somebody who tries to do more with that. That's right, Tom. And I'm kind of wearing that blue here today too, and Hank's wearing his blue cap. But to me, Brian Daboll did something that I think is one of the characteristics to me with Coach of the Year. He did more with less than any other coach in the league this year. Were the Giants the most talented team in football this year? No. But look what they were able to do. You still got to the second round of the playoffs with that group. So I think it's absolutely the right decision, especially considering where the Giants were coming into this season. I mean, it's definitely the right decision, the right call, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, come on, 9-7-1 in a year where I frankly thought maybe 5 or 6 would have been considered a quote unquote successful season. So that tells you he pretty much did more with less. And one of the things I really liked about Daboll is more often than not, he played. Excuse me. Sorry.
I mean, Hank was going in thinking that 500 was going to be our thing.
He played to win the games. Like week 1 against the Titans, he goes out and like chews out Daniel Jones on the sideline after that pick, and Daniel Jones doesn't really fight back. He agrees with him, and then they go on that comeback, and then instead of tying with an extra point, he's like, fuck it, I want to win the game. Let's go for 2.
Yeah, I mean, I give him a lot of credit. He's a gutsy coach, which I kind of wish we had, which we don't have as a in Jetland. But
I thought you weren't a Jets fan anymore.
Well, technically, the way it works is until the Super Bowl, you have to take what you have, and then once Super Bowl is over, that's when free agency hits.
Oh.
But so that's when the official meetings start to take place. But yeah, I would say that Dable is one of the best right now when it comes to coaching and strategy. He just needs a team. He needs a team. He needs pieces. Now, when you're in cap hell, it doesn't help. But
and yet the Giants have the 3rd most available cap in this all season. Now, granted, that's way less than considering what the Bears are going to be able to spend on.
I still think they should go make the trade with Arizona.
I wouldn't be against it.
No, it's not crazy. I just don't know if you want to give up your first rounder for.
But what are they doing with the picks? They haven't really been using them.
Well, I would disagree with you there. Look at this year. Look at the first round picks or the draft picks, not the first round pick, but the draft picks they had this year and how much they contributed. Kayvon Thibodeau, Dan Bellinger. I mean,
okay, what's your weakness though?
What's that?
What's your weakness though? Wide receiver.
No, I don't think that's the biggest weakness. I mean, I think linebackers is still something they have to address. I think. Yeah. What's that?
There's a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah, I think wide receiver on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the most severe thing they need, I think it's in the middle. I can go out there and get somebody at the wide receiver position and just fill in. I think one of the things they need is depth because you know what? I think Wan'Dale Robinson is that guy. There's no true number one guy out in the free agent market. I mean, a lot of them are aging veteran guys. So, I mean, you want to talk about Hopkins there in Arizona, maybe a DJ Moore in Carolina. I think is not in play now for them. I know that's another guy you've been saying, Nick. That's why I'm trying to bring it up.
No, Tom said it, not me.
I would love DJ Moore here, but Carolina also is very. They don't want to trade him. They want him to be the face of their franchise.
Even though Carolina's going nowhere.
I kind of would disagree with that if you go into next. I don't want to look ahead to the offseason and next season here, but Carolina's in a crappy division now with a kind of in a favorable spot when you look at it, considering how they ended the year.
Well, with Brady not being there anymore.
It helps.
But, yeah, Dable definitely deserved Coach of the Year. He definitely took a team that was supposed to win 5 or 6 games and win a game in the playoffs. Now, of course, I'm around 3 Giants fans. I'm going to say this. Did Minnesota kind of implode on themselves? That's the one question I would ask. Not saying that it's the reason, but this is the question I throw out there.
Let me answer that very quickly. Did Minnesota collapse on themselves? Yes. But did Brian Dable do an excellent job coaching in that game?
Yes.
Both can be true.
Both can be true. I'll be honest. Hank, if this was Joe Judge, if this was Ben McAdoo, the Giants don't take advantage of the lapses that Minnesota has.
Correct.
I agree with you on that one. All right. Let's move on. Now, this is the fun fact part of the show. NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, Garrett Wilson, who was hurt. Or was that Breece Hall? Which one am I thinking of? Breece Hall was the
running back, yeah.
Who I can't even keep track anymore. So many injuries on that team. But Garrett Wilson was really good this year. He really came into his own for the Jets. He kept them afloat.
Honestly, Nick, Breece Hall would have been Offensive Rookie of the Year if he didn't get the season-ending. He was looking week 5 or so. The Jets have some great youth on their side.
They just need a quarterback. Oops, did I say that out loud? Yes, they need a quarterback in the worst way. Also, and then on the other side of it, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Sauce Gardner. So the Jets sweep the offense and defense Rookie of the Year. So
yeah, I mean, Nick, I was high on the Jets going into this season. I'm still high on them now because the pieces are there, but you said it, quarterback and offensive line. That's the things they got to shore up on in the offseason.
Go out and prove to me if you want me to be a Jet fan and remain a Jet fan. Go out and get a quarterback. And I swear, if I hear the
Nick,
what? Shut up! Shut up!
That's your future.
I swear to God, I'm so tired of hearing Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I'm screaming over a live stream. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers sucks. Go back to your dark house and go meditate for another week.
Nick, I think you need a breath, and I think you need to
RELA.
Not helping. Why is everyone so fascinated with Aaron Rodgers? Somebody tell me.
I'll tell you why. Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh yeah, because that is the winner right there. That's the one that everyone says, if I have Nathaniel Hackett, I'm gonna win the Super Bowl.
Well, remember, that's why the Broncos hired him in the first place.
Yeah. Hey, let's follow the Broncos. And I said this on, I think it was ETB.
Because that was when they tried to get Aaron Rodgers. How'd that work out?
Right. Yeah. And the Jets are a day late and $1 short hiring Nathaniel Hackett, saying, you know what? Maybe if we get Nathaniel Hackett, we'll get Aaron Rodgers in a Jet uniform, and then he'll destroy another franchise.
You know what this calls for, Nick?
What?
I think we need to do this again.
No, we don't need to do this again.
Yes, we do. Jets country, take flight.
You see why this franchise gives me agita and might give me a heart attack one day?
Well, see, I would say the one thing is maybe they wouldn't. Why it would frustrate you would be a trendy thing that they've done these last several years. We're trying to get the veteran aging quarterback as the one missing piece. With either Brett Favre. I mean, go down that road again. But I mean,
I don't know. I would rather have Derek Carr. If we get Derek Carr, I might survive as a Jet fan. Maybe.
You might be going to the Saints at the
Okay, so just to clarify what Tom is talking about, because there was a report out there that the Saints and Raiders were talking. So for any deal to happen, they had to designate that they're willing to put the deal together. That's part of any deal with Derek Carr. So I think that was more exploratory conversations with the Saints, if anything. The Saints are a mess too, but I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers here. Please, I'm begging as like a fringe Jets fan right now who's trying to decide if he's going to survive as a Jet fan. Don't do it. I beg of you. All right.
It's just tough because the pieces are there.
Nick,
what, Tom? Yeah.
You have
what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Gun to your head. You have to choose between Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson.
Neither.
You take the bullet.
I would literally take the bullet. Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, Breece Hall, and they'll be running Wildcats. They'll be doing the wishbone offense like in the Army-Navy game.
No, I'll say what I said last time. I'll take a rooster over Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers at this point.
Oh. All right.
I'm just so tired of this quarterback situation. And by the way, if anyone who's watching this, you want to drop a comment, we'll answer questions as well. I'm sure people are going to scream at me in the comments how I'm obnoxious about Aaron Rodgers and how I hate him as much as LeBron James. But shut up! No one cares. Take your feet picks and shove them up your you-know-what. Yes, all right, I'm going to try and calm down. All right, now let's move into some of the other headlines, and then we'll pick up on the Super Bowl. I just thought this one was funny. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam is in talks with the Milwaukee Bucks to buy 25% of the franchise.
He's going to go ruin a second franchise.
I mean,
second sport.
Let's just hope we don't hear like a dumb news like Deshaun Watson is now signed with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you're hard to mess up the Bucks. I mean,
What did you say?
I was going to say he'll go sign Dennis Rodman to some 10-year, $300 million contract.
Well, may not have to worry about that with the whole NBA problems that we're dealing with.
I see the comment, Hank.
That would be my mom, by the way.
That's okay. I get it. Does someone need a hug? Yeah, I kind of do as a Jet fan. I'm frustrated. It's totally warranted, Hank. Totally.
Oh yeah, no.
So totally warranted. Go ahead, Hank.
As a semi-fringe, well, I'm kind of a Knick fan, but as a kind of Knick fan, I get it because our teams are pretty much run the same way in the sense that you can change so many things about them and nothing ever really does change at the end of the day. Am I wrong?
No, you're totally right. Well, the Knicks have a future, though, at least. Okay.
Yeah,
so.
Well, okay, no. Let me correct you there. The Knicks have a future as long as a certain owner that you and I lashed out about does not find a way to ruin it.
Wait, JD? Wait a minute. You mean JD in the straight shots?
The one and only.
You know he will.
What's next? Is he going to? He's going to go get LeBron James at the age of 40, 10 years too late to play with Bronny Jr.
He's going to drift. He's going to trade up in 2024, trade up to get Bronny Jr. and sign LeBron James. He will.
Watch. He's going to trade up, and he's still not going to get Bronny Jr.
Well, I mean, they have the only difference this time around would be they have the surplus of draft capital to do that, unlike in years.
First of all, James Dolan has surplus and nothing. Let's get that straight.
The organization, but let's just be fair. They do have a surplus of draft picks. I mean, it was a big topic of conversation when they were in the running for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, and look what happened to them then. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Haslam, Bucks buy 25%. He will destroy another franchise. Now, for someone who's destroying lives, Brett Favre suing Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee, claiming defamation over Mississippi welfare scandal. Now, on both shows, we discussed this whole thing going down with Brett Favre, who was trying to help his daughter's volleyball team, and trying to get this the gym fixed up. Was that the whole thing he was doing?
Yeah.
So now he's suing Sharp and McAfee because apparently he came out against them. Oh, someone had an opinion. God forbid.
So I guess we're gonna be on that group next then.
Watch now we're
Packers quarterbacks.
Well, it doesn't work. Watch now. Jordan Love's gonna fall under that spell next.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers sold his old girlfriend. What was it? The
witch.
He's gonna start.
I don't remember. A love spell. It's all about the love potion. What was the name of that song again? Love Potion.
Love Potion number 9.
That's it.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm talking about oldies music. All the young hip kids have no idea what we're talking about. Anyway,
excuse me. I'm like. We're all in like our mid-20s. Well, except you just turned 30.
I just turned 30.
I can speak for myself, but I'm in my mid-20s, and I know how good that music is. I guess.
That music is great.
Young,
but all right, let's move on to. I don't know, Tom. Do you want me to do the Irvin story first, or you want me to do? You want me to save yours for last? What do you think? Perfect timing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yep.
All right. You know what? Screw it. I think it's time. Please clear the banner.
Okay.
You gave him an option. He's gonna run with it.
It's time.
He's gonna run with it.
I'm running with it. I'm gonna run with it.
You knew that
this guy is gonna run off with your money.
Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, Broncos country, Broncos country, let's ride.
I call this the stealing money edition.
Wait, where's the other banner?
I think.
Yeah.
And he steals your money in more ways than one.
Broncos country, Broncos country, Broncos country, Broncos country, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Can I just say, can Russell Wilson, can you please stay in the headlines this offseason? I can't wait 7 months for that.
So the story goes that only about 40% of Russell Wilson Foundation's expenses actually go to charity. 40%.
40%. Oh boy. I wish we could find a way to do the reverse cash register.
Oh, that's the one thing I forgot. I was going to do that, and I forgot to do it. But 40%? What is this? I mean, I've heard some weird things in the past where some charities, like the CEO, makes $500,000 to $600,000, which to me seems wrong in a lot of ways. But this is just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to read more about this, but I mean, it's just the headline itself doesn't sound good at all.
I mean, he's taking the headlines over the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean,
I'll actually read.
There was quite a few stories done on it, including locally in Denver.
Here's some of the headlines that have come of it. Apparently, the Why Not You Foundation has spent more on employee salaries than charitable activities.
See, that makes me sick. Like, that you're spending more on employee salaries than giving to charity.
And apparently it uses less than a quarter of its income to help kids.
I mean, I don't know how well you guys know this foundation. Well, not foundation, but charity. You ever heard of Susan G. Komen?
Oh, yeah, the breast cancer thing, yeah.
So allegedly, she makes $500,000 to $600,000 a year as the CEO of the charity foundation. Think about that. As the CEO.
Well, I think it's also terrible on the Wilson perspective. Like I said, he steals money on multiple occasions. He's got this, and he stole money for being such a fraud of a quarterback this past offseason.
That's all right. He's got Walmart money.
Yeah, I know he's got Walmart money. I know he's going to get severance.
I mean,
no. That's not severance. That's just Russell Wilson being a legitimate thief, and that's also the fact that that's also the Denver Broncos being so negligent that they'll actually pay him the money, and they're stuck with him until he's in his late 30s.
By the way, Tom,
I was going to say I have to be careful because of the dead cap that could come with a cut.
Tom, this is the first time that we've seen a player on both sides when it's allegedly stealing, where we joke about a player stealing their salary, and someone actually stealing money from a charity.
Well, he's getting paid all these millions of dollars for being a quarterback, and he's a pretty damn good quarterback. He's always has been. And instead, it's just been a case of, oh, damn it. I get an ad for a 2-second video. How does that work? Not this.
Limited diarrhea.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again, Russell?
Unlimited diarrhea.
Unlimited.
Gross.
He is Mr. Unlimited, all right.
I mean, that was just an unfortunate drop that was turned into a drop. I mean,
the only thing more unlimited than that would be a certain hockey team that plays in Philadelphia.
Which uses a similar color scheme, yep.
Oh, you can't make this up. That's all I can say with Russell Wilson apparently keeping 60% of the profits in his charity organization.
So it should be, instead of Broncos country, let's ride, it should just be Russell Wilson himself saying, Russell Wilson, let's ride.
Well, let's hope that the Broncos continue to be the laughingstock of the NFL during the offseason so I could just keep doing more of these videos.
Well, they're trying to fix it. I mean, getting Sean Payton is a good start, but I mean,
also, Johnny, on that note, why the hell does Russell Wilson have his own office in the
Not anymore?
Well, granted, yeah, not anymore.
Wait, so what was the question?
Why does he have an office with the Broncos, Russell Wilson? Why did he have an office?
He had an office in the Broncos
because he's Russell Wilson.
He's Russell Wilson, yeah.
there you go. Case closed.
Yeah. It's a kind of a trick question, yeah.
Yeah. All right. One more story, and then we're going to get into why we're actually here, the Super Bowl coverage. Michael Irvin files a defamation lawsuit against a woman in a hotel seeking $100 million. Now, allegedly, he a woman in the hotel came up and met him, and like they shook hands. He claims, and he left. And then the woman files a claim saying he did something. We don't know what he did. We don't know the story, but NFL Network took him off the Super Bowl coverage. And if I'm not mistaken, First Take took him off his Friday spot as well at the Super Bowl. So I don't know. What do we think about this? Because I don't know where to go with this.
Probably a spot where you just have to let the legal proceedings play out here. I mean, obviously, anytime something like this comes up, I mean, you're going to be taken off the air while the investigation is happening.
You do know that allegedly he had an incident when he was with the Cowboys before one of their divisional games.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess times were different back then and now. I mean, obviously that happened now, but we've been hearing stories about, even players leading into this game dealing with stuff. And so it's it's anytime stuff like this happens, it's always a very tricky avenue to go down under about.
It's a tough spot to be in. I mean, I think that, like you said, the legal proceedings have to play out. Now, he's claiming that she basically was looking for attention, and I guess, I don't know, is this a money grab cancel situation? I don't know. Time will tell.
That's what Irvin's claiming.
Right, and you never know with athletes or personalities if what they say is true. All right, let's get away from the headlines. Now let's talk about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 57. Chiefs at the Eagles. The Eagles are a 1.5 favorite. Now, remember, we're doing this live on Saturday. This could change.
Can I just say one thing as we get into this game? Because I think all those headlines that came up also prove one thing. The 2 weeks in between the conference championship game and the Super Bowl, it's just way too long.
It is too much. I mean,
it feels like it's been a month since the
conference games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Mike Francesa, and I was saying this to the guys beforehand. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Francesa. There's too much time between the game, so the media is interviewing the media.
Well, I mean, think about it. So you have Super Bowl opening night on Monday night this past week, which, is just, fill time. And then you've got everything else coming up. I mean, we know all the storylines going into this game. They haven't changed over 5 days. So,
but I also think I understand it because the NFL wants both of its teams to be fully rested and as healthy as possible.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that would be a fair point, and I guess everything else would just come as a result of that. Because there was the possibility that one of the possible scenarios was that there would be no bye week in between the conference championship game and the Super Bowl this year because of what happened up in over in Cincinnati earlier this year with Damar Hamlin.
But here's the thing, Johnny. So take that example and how Mahomes had the high ankle sprain. Now imagine the ankle sprain is actually worse and Mahomes doesn't play in the Super Bowl. How many people, including the NFL, would be pretty pissed off about that?
A ton.
It'd be a lot. And we didn't know how effective he was going to be in the conference championship game, and he looked like he never even had the injury.
Yeah, but the thing is, people were like, "Oh, well, he might not play." Oh, come on, it's the playoffs. You know that no one sits in the playoffs.
Well, we understand that. We knew he was going to play. The only question was going to be how effective was he going to be. Remember, Travis Kelce was put on the injury report. He had back problems. We knew he was going to play, but the only question was going to be how effective. And you know what? They both looked like they didn't miss a beat. I'll tell you that much.
I mean,
and Nick,
the matchup.
That's why I said.
Go ahead.
That's why I said. Imagine if it was worse than an ankle sprain, that his ankle was shattered.
Well, we all know Roger Goodell and the NFL would be throwing insults left and right if Mahomes was not playing in this game right now. It would be a mismatch otherwise.
Do you think though that those lingering issues though, and as we bring this lineup here, I'm wondering if part of the reason why the Eagles are slight favorite in this one is because of those lingering injury woes. Now, I know the Eagles have been dominant throughout. You look at their run here in the playoffs, their run so far has been completely dominant. I mean, they got past the Giants big. They got past the 49ers big. While if you look at the Kansas City side, they struggled with Jacksonville. They struggled with the Bengals getting into this spot. But also the lingering issues with a Mahomes and with a Kelce. And even, they've had Schuster and Kadarius Toney on the injury report too. Now, their injury report looks to be clean for the most part going into tomorrow's game, but I mean, that's part of the reason why you see this line the way it is, and it hasn't budged this whole week, which makes sense. I mean, that's what I was telling you, Nick, earlier this week on Game On, is usually the line that comes out the week before, if it fluctuates, it's going to fluctuate a half point if in either direction, and it really hasn't.
Right, but if Mahomes went down with an injury, like say they found, not that it's going to happen, but if they found out today that he was not going to play, this line would jump from like 1.5 to like 5 or 6 quickly.
I think it would be about, it would almost be like, probably about 6.5. Yeah, that's what it would be, that dramatic of a change.
Agreed. However, as you were kind of implying, Johnny, I think it's less of a matter of their injuries and more of a matter of, and Nick, you and I have talked about this all season long, that the Chiefs' defense has just not been the same as it's been in these past couple of seasons, whereas the Eagles' defense is absolutely dominant.
I mean, I've said this a lot, that the Chiefs' defense almost has to play up to the Chiefs' offense. Like, because the Chiefs' defense is such a struggle that the offense has to score on top of the defense because you don't know if they're going to get the stops necessary to win the game. So
and I think that's gonna be the X factor in this case. It's a matter of both offenses are great. It's a matter of it's going to be the defensive battle between these two teams.
But people are forgetting also that Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown for over 130 yards in all the games so far that he's won in the playoffs. So I want to see Jalen Hurts come out and play. Mahomes has been here.
I agree, but when you've got a running back core that includes Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, I mean, you might as well just use that to your advantage too.
Well, Johnny, what was that thing you said about Boston Scott, that he only comes out against the Giants?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen his name a little bit more.
Too, so.
He did come out against the Niners. Yes, that is true.
But I don't know. I think Jalen Hurts' inexperience is going to hurt partially because, again, hasn't been in this situation. Mahomes has been there twice. So,
yeah, I mean, now Jalen Hurts has played a championship game before. Now, obviously, doing it in college football versus the NFL are two totally different things. But to me, guys, I think this there's one matchup I look at in this one, and that is going to be this Chiefs offensive line going up against this Eagles defense, this Eagles pass rush. Because one of the things I'm wondering too, let's say Mahomes, say if he's healthy though with the ankle sprain, is he going to be like what he was doing a couple of years ago against the Bucs, having to run for his life, like we saw a couple of years ago? Because if that's the case, then I'll tell you right now, you're looking at the Eagles easily getting this win on Sunday. I think that's certainly in play. That's really the matchup I look at. Can this offensive line keep Mahomes upright? Because that was the scary thing with the ankle injury against the Jaguars. That's what we saw against the Bucs a couple of years ago in the Super Bowl, where Mahomes seemed to be running for his life on every single play. That's really the biggest matchup. And you know what? If that's the case, then Jalen Hurts is not going to have to do a million things in this game.
Mahomes' legs got to be healthy. If he's going to be cement feet in the pocket, that's a problem.
I'll say another thing. Look at the Eagles' offensive line. 3/5 of that group consists of Pro Bowlers, and you could probably make a case that the other two offensive linemen are pretty solid too. If they play the way they did all season long, Eagles have an excellent shot. And not to mention, you got the three-headed monster in Gainwell, Scott, and Sanders.
I mean, you have A.J. Brown, who I've said so far all year has been one of the
number one wide receivers, too. Him and Devontae Smith.
Well, I think that this acquisition, I think Jalen Hurts, as you guys know, I have bought into Jalen Hurts ever since he was drafted. I thought he was going to do wonders, but I think A.J. Brown, if you're looking at one of the reasons that this team has gone and increased the amount that they have done, in terms of their ability and such, it's been the acquisition of A.J. Brown.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where experience versus being there. Again, we look at the quarterback matchup. By far, Mahomes is probably favored in that quarterback matchup by far. So it's a matter, could Jalen Hurts come to ball? And can he throw the football? I was reading some of the analytics stuff where they were saying if you force Jalen Hurts to be a quarterback, that's going to be a long day for the Eagles because he hasn't had to prove himself yet so far.
I mean, I understand that argument, but as I said, when you've got, as Hank called him, the three-headed monster at running back, when you've got 2 number 1 wide receivers. I don't think A.J. Brown has to put in the kind of work that he would, say, if he was in Daniel Jones' spot. And I'm not just saying that from a Giants fan perspective, but I mean that he's got the talent around him. He's got the talent around him that they can help whenever he kind of stumbles, or if he can't throw the big pass, or he overthrows a pass. He's got an offensive line that gives him time. Like, he's got the pieces around him. This is the Eagles. Disgusting as it is for me to say as a Giants fan, but the Eagles are perhaps they are the most well-built team in this NFL league.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Another thing to watch here too is, the Eagles are going to try and double team and take Travis Kelce as much as possible out of this game. So what does that mean? That means you're going to be forcing the likes of Kadarius Toney to step up and be a factor in this one. I think one guy also to watch on the Kansas City offensive side is going to be their running back, Isaiah Pacheco. He's a guy that's kind of underrated, but he can do some runs, and I think he's going to have to as well, because the Eagles are going to try and take Kelce as much as possible out of this game.
Is Hilaire back? Because I thought they took him off I thought they put him back on the roster.
Oh, Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I will look that up real quick.
I could have sworn I read somewhere that they put him back on the roster.
If he is, he's definitely lost his spot to Isaiah Pacheco, though. Like Johnny said, Isaiah Pacheco has had his showings, has had his highlights in this season.
So Hilaire was activated earlier this week from injured reserve, and McCole Hardman, their wide receiver, was placed on injured reserve. So
they were putting him back as a backup. Okay, but
yeah,
I don't know. This is going to be probably a coin flip game for the first time in a long time. Usually we see some deeper lines. This is weird that we're seeing a coin flip Super Bowl game.
It's very rare that you get a Super Bowl where, I'm trying to remember. I think last year when I was on with you guys and we were discussing the Bengals and Rams, I believe it was a field goal. It was a 3-point spread. The lines are not usually that big. I think, if I can remember correctly, I think even in the Super Bowl run, the two Super Bowl runs the Giants made, I don't think they were that big of a dog either time against the Patriots.
You might be right. I don't know. I guess I'm just frustrated by the amount of betting content that's out there that they did all week from Arizona.
I tell you what, the whole betting stuff, and I know we're going to discuss that, but the whole betting content stuff is absolutely out of hand. There's that number that I told you about earlier in the week that they're expecting $16 billion to be bet in this game,
which is an insane number.
It is insane, and it also does not help when you have constant spread stuff coming from the networks, from the betting networks. They tell you to bet wisely and stuff, and use some responsibility and stuff. But when you're constantly,
what responsibility? There's no responsibility.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm just saying when you constantly put it out there, and you have shows and you have networks that are devoted to this stuff. What are you supposed to do?
Tom, what were you going to say? Because I know you were going to say something. I thought you had said. I thought you were going to say something.
I think Hank was about to say something. Hank, go for it.
Go ahead, Hank.
No. I was laughing at your responsibility comment.
BetQL, and I know I don't like promoting networks on our stuff, but BetQL from Odyssey has been down in Arizona all week doing coverage from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. every single day. Okay? Think about that. 16 hours of gambling content a day.
Well, I think it also has to do with the fact that the amount of prop bets, and I know, Nick, you had some that you're going to share with us, and there's some that I probably can't even imagine in my right mind thinking about that they were out there.
What are the color of Andy Reid's socks going to be?
Well, I didn't find that one.
there probably is one.
Just gonna go with
if
red.
You could
because,
think of it, it'll be there.
How many degrees is the angle of the kickoff going to be?
Well, I think that's always, though, the same. I actually was reading how Fox is going to, and that's something else we can mention, how Fox is going to.
Betting content sucks.
Look, my mom is very anti-gambling.
She is right. I
can't say that she's wrong.
Hey,
imagine the good you could do with all that money. Yes, agreed.
Hey, you know what? Take it from somebody like me who's got 4 vacations coming up and it's going to spend that money in good spots. But it's crazy. It's just like I don't do the lottery. I mean, not to get off topic here, but I don't do the lottery because I think that's just ridiculous. I mean, if you forced me to bet on one thing, you guys know this. I said this last year on the show, and I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it till the day I come. There would be one prop bet in this game that I would take, and that's it. And we'll probably get to it. If it's not on the ones you're coming up, I will say it at the end.
Is it the one that I'm thinking of?
It probably is because I have brought it up a lot, even in off-air discussions. But
okay,
yeah. So that's what we're looking at here. As this game now is a day away.
Well, I was going to ask. So, what do we want to do? Do we want to?
We're going to save the pick for the spread last. Okay. We'll end on the pick spread. Let's go to the props because this is the fun part. Okay. So By
the way, I'm sorry. Can I just say this, Nick?
Yes.
Remember what we call the lottery?
What? What'd you call
remember what Brian Griffin called it? Taxes for stupid people.
Yes. It kind of is taxes for stupid people if you think about it.
It really is.
I mean, if you think of that, let's fix our roads and our bridges. No, let's give away $1 billion to the next lottery winner.
All right. What's silly
the lottery could be anything. It could even be a mystery box.
Well, all that money on a boat. Anyway,
props that we got this year.
Okay, so I was scrolling around. I tried to look through the different books, and then some articles put out some. So obviously, there's one that's really dumb that happens right before the game. It's the most common, the coin toss.
Oh, the coin toss.
Yeah.
The coin toss, by the way, is probably the dumbest prop bet of all time. You have a 50-50 shot of getting it right. Okay? Now, I read a stat. Let me make sure I have it. 4 of the past 5 Super Bowl coin tosses have landed heads, but that comes after a 4-year run of tails never failing.
You mean everything is a 50-50 shot with heads or tails? Ooh!
Oh!
Spectacular!
So basically, that's a 50-50 shot, and the lines are the same. It's minus 105 on each side. So they're basically saying whichever one you take, if you win, you win.
They're saying it's a coin flip.
Wow.
Too easy, Tom.
Where is it when I need it? No, he did that on purpose. Where is the sound effect? That's the one I was looking for.
Well, that's what we get if we get it wrong.
No, but like that was just. But what else was I going to say? Will either team win the coin toss and win the game? They have odds on that. If you win the coin toss, if you're going to win the game. Talk about degenerate gambling. Also, the Gatorade shower. What color is the Gatorade going to be?
Red, white, blue, yellow.
So here's the colors. Orange, yellow, green. I don't know why yellow, green is together. Clear or water. Blue, red, pink, purple, no Gatorade poured.
Nick, it's yellow-green because there's a flavor of Gatorade that's yellow-green.
Oh, shows you how much I know.
So since merchandise that, I would have been able to tell you, but we don't merchandise Gatorade.
So since 2001, the color of liquid poured on the winning coach has been orange 5, none 5, blue 4, clear 4, yellow 3, purple 1. Wow, they have statistics on the color of the Gatorade. That's kind of...
yeah, there's stats for everything out there. I was going to say probably orange. I mean, if you had numbers on it, orange would probably be...
That's what I said, because of all the colors.
I think it's going to be orange or clear.
So it says blue Gatorade has been poured in each of the past 2 years and 3 of the past 4, but odds makers clearly want to limit their liability with orange. This is bad.
That's a conspiracy right there. They take your fun facts and they like raise it to an absolutely absurd level.
Well, yeah, but I'm in terms of like the fun facts with the Super Bowls. Like, that's not really where I aim for. With
of course,
it's still pretty funny though, one way or another.
And then you have some of the other ridiculous things: Super Bowl 57 prop bets, post game, and MVP speech. What will be mentioned first during the Super Bowl MVP speech?
Oh, this shit.
So the leading favorite is team/teammates, then city/fans, God/religion, family, coaches, team owner. You know what? I would actually, if I was a betting man on this, I would take God/religion because we hear it all the time.
Good Lord above.
But it's not. But not first though.
No, but usually when they come off the field, sometimes they will say it.
I would say it's either God or it's
teammates or team. But I love how team owner made this list at plus 2,500.
Oh, that sounds you got probably great.
Yeah, because the team owner has everything to do.
No, plus 2,500 means it's the big dog, meaning that
that's what I'm saying, bro, because the team owner has everything to do with that team going to the Super Bowl, right?
Well, they just pay the checks. And then another one of my favorites: will a player propose after the game? Now, the difference is this is closer to Valentine's Day. It's 2 days before Valentine's Day.
And I think last year or 2 years ago, we had a case.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Somebody proposed. Not on camera, though. Not on camera.
But I don't know what counts. That's the problem. With some of these stupid prop bets. Some of these stupid prop bets.
I'm not this degenerate of a gambler.
Gotta read the fine print on that.
Well, let me see. It says, obviously this is unlikely, but with the game taking place 2 days before Valentine's Day, it seems more possible than in the past.
Wait. I'm reading the fine print, guys. Roger Goodell owns your soul.
Oh all right. Now prop bets for Super Bowl commercials. This is the one this is what I love.
I love this one, yes.
Which chip company commercial will air first? Doritos or Pringles?
Question.
Doritos.
Question.
Doritos, yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Okay. When does it officially start? When do these commercials officially start? Is it after the kickoff? Is it during the game show? The pre-game show?
No,
the window. The game window.
Tom, I think the game commercials only start after the kickoff.
Right. So, well,
I don't think they have commercials pre-game. I mean, unless I'm like totally off.
I think they start.
But
I think they start 15 minutes before the actual kick, from what I understood. I don't know if that's true, but
I've always only focused on them after the game starts. So
I think they're talking about the Super Bowl game window. That's what I think they're talking about.
I think that's when that's when I think they happen. I don't think there's any of them that have happened pre-game or before.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh no, you're good.
No, you're right because I don't know, but Doritos has had a bigger presence than Pringles, but Pringles has had some funny commercials. Doritos always has funny commercials.
Dorito, that's when we're going to talk about this on our shows after the game, I always remember Doritos back in my R&P days and doing this, that Doritos was always a positive one.
Right. And Pringles, you just get whatever celebrity is going to make a duck face with the Pringles at this point.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember ever talking about Pringles in a positive or negative way, so they don't really stick out to me.
Not like
I've always been a Doritos guy. Always.
Oh, by the way, guys, just because I was scrolling through Twitter, you guys have probably seen this. Man, they just gone away with they've been so lazy with the Super Bowl logos.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
That that is something I heard about in the past, that the logos were not trying to be that crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's just, it is what it is.
Well, see, the problem you're running into is let's just say next year 58 is going to be the Roman numerals for 58. It's a lot.
By the way, Super Bowl 58 in Vegas next year.
Next year it's in Vegas. Yep.
By the way, if you thought the gambling content was bad now,
oh yeah.
Oh God, next year's going to be ridiculous.
They're going to be live. They're going to be live from all the casinos next year down on the Strip next year.
Here's a fun question: what hotel do they keep the teams in next year?
Oh, that's a good question, because they have.
You can't put them at a casino next year. They got.
Well, you can't. Every casino down every hotel in Vegas is a casino essentially down there.
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
I feel like one of your new sound effects things should be the slot machine.
Slot machine.
Oh, I have to remember that for next year.
Oh, Nick.
What?
Hang on, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
We've all been there. What was I going to say? So basically, I see Doritos is the major favorite. What?
Nick, that's going to be a prop bet next year. Which hotel do they stay at?
It might be. It totally might be. Now, some of the companies are going to, some of the big sports media companies are going to have their sponsors. So I know ESPN will probably be in Caesars because that's their big sports book. I don't know. And then you have FanDuel and all them. They probably have deals with casinos. So I don't know. It's going to be a weird situation next year. More snack companies involved in the prop bets. Which snack company commercial? Now, I don't know why this is different from Chip Company, but which snack company commercial will air first? M&M's or, again, Doritos?
I'm tempted to say Doritos because M&M's has their whole stupid controversy right now.
Well, M&M's is the heavy favorite. I don't know why.
Me, Hank, I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
He said Doritos.
Again, I don't know why this is just my brain on 3 hours of sleep saying this, but I always thought Doritos was a first quarter commercial.
Me too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed. Plus, I don't know how prominent M&M's is going to be right now when they have their whole...
They're running their Maya Rudolph campaign right now.
You know, I think everybody's got to stop complaining about every single little thing that's going on in the world about like that. I mean, come on.
I mean, I agree with Johnny that it's a little ridiculous with the whole M&M's thing.
People are complaining about everything. Like, I hate, and I'm going to bring this up because it does have to do with the game. If I see people, and this is why I'm avoiding social media as much as possible, but if people are going to bitch and moan about the Empire State Building lining up in Philadelphia Eagles colors if they win the game Sunday, I am going to lose my mind. You know what this would be? Here's what I would say to my fellow New York fans. We need to be better. Because you know what? And Hank, I told you this too. Philadelphia is better than New York in basketball, in baseball, and in football. Right now, the only sport New York is better than Philadelphia in is hockey. That's it.
Maybe soccer.
Wait, hold up.
and Nick, yeah, maybe soccer because NYCFC won the MLS Cup in 2021.
Talk about ticker tape parade. You got one in 2021.
Right.
But
I'm sorry. As I go off of my chest here.
No, you're totally right, by the way, that people over exaggerate about the damn Empire State Building and the color.
I was so bummed that I couldn't be on the show after that happened because it blew my mind to smithereens that that people were complaining about that. You know what? Be better. That's the thing.
Yeah.
At the very least, right after the AFC title game, they lit up in Chiefs colors too. So it's not like
they were gonna. Yeah, that was gonna happen regardless. I mean, they would have done the same thing if the Cowboys won, if the Commanders won, if the Patriots won.
It's freaking colors on a building, for crying out loud. Who the fuck cares?
Because we as a society now have come to the point where we need to complain about every little thing that happens in the world.
Well, I could say that's a New Yorker problem, but
it's an entire country problem, Nick. It's not just New York.
No. But I'm saying New Yorkers.
We're turning into a world full of Karens.
No, that's a good. Or if you want to take it on the other, if you want to be gender appropriate, Kevin's. But
anyway.
But I don't know. This whole thing is dumb. The Empire State. And then they trolled. Do you remember which team was the one that trolled the Empire State Building on Twitter?
Michigan State, I know, did.
But was it the Eagles who trolled back at the Giants? I think
that was ridiculous too. Yeah.
But all right, let me get back to the prop bets.
Doritos, by the way, over M&M's. I would take that.
But the M&M's apparently is the heavy favorite according to the book.
Well, and there you go for you degenerate gamblers. There's an upset for you.
There's an upset.
I would take the upset. I would take it.
Me too. All right. Let's move on. Beer. Let's talk about the beer brands. So, which beer brand commercial will air first? Budweiser or Heineken? Now, in my book, I feel like Budweiser is usually first because they were the big sponsor for years for the Super Bowl.
I think, well, what is it? Is it Budweiser or Bud Light?
Well, they listed as Budweiser and Heineken.
Yeah, I know Bud Light does a big thing. See, as a merchandiser, I always see them in the stores, and I think Bud Light's got a big thing. But I'm going to say Budweiser.
Yeah, they're both the same odds, apparently.
Yeah, I was going to say this one's a toss-up. Honestly, I know both of them have heavy presence during.
Yes,
My favorite commercial, though, probably of all time, is the Bud Knight. You know that commercial, right? With the tin suit and the Bud, and it's one of my favorites.
Yes, that one is good.
All right, let's see. More head-to-heads. First to air commercial props. This just goes to show how much of a degenerate gambler some people are. All right. Avocados from Mexico versus Hellman's.
What?
Which Hellman's is the mayonnaise company.
The helmet and mayo or the avocados from Mexico. I think avocados from Mexico is probably a favorite because more people
see them. They were
guacamole.
massive last year. Massive.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we're talking about Super Bowl commercials, by the way. No, I just want to name some. Terry Tate, the Office linebacker, Reebok commercials.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a couple of years ago, we had Drake from State Farm, and it was actually Drake.
Yes. Well, the two of them. Yes, that was hilarious. But I don't know. What do we think? Avocados from Mexico or Helmet? I think it's avocado from Mexico.
Avocado from Mexico.
I know they were present last year.
Can I sing it?
Yes, you can sing it.
Avocados from Mexico.
That's such a great commercial.
It really is. It's got to be avocados from Mexico.
All right, Experian, and I don't know I can never pronounce this one. Rotkin, is that how you pronounce it? Rocketin, Rakuten.
What are those two things?
Well, Experian is travel.
Right.
Experian. Yeah. No, you know what Experian is? Wait, can you spell it, Nick?
Experin. Isn't Experian travel?
Sorry, you cut out. Can you do it again?
Yeah, Experin.
You know, I think that's the John Cena commercials with credit.
Experian is a credit score.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
With John Cena and the purple cow.
It's actually, if we want to be more specific, it's an American-Irish multinational data analytics and consumer credit reporting company.
Oh my God.
I think I'm going to go with Experian on this one. I think last year they had some sort of contest where you had to count a number of certain things to win.
Yes.
Them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
So Rakuten is also a looks like a cashback company.
Wait, spell that and I'll look it up.
Well, I looked it up. Rakuten. It's an online and in-store cashback site, apparently.
Oh, interesting. So that's kind of like what I have with. Oh no, it's not. Okay, never mind. I'll just stop.
All right, but Experian is the slight favorite over Rakuten.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to take Experian just because that's the only thing I've ever heard. It's the only one of the two I've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I think you're probably right on that one. I think Experian. All right. M&M's versus Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Pepsi is such a huge sponsor of the Super Bowl.
Well, they used to be the sponsor of the halftime show until Apple took over.
That's right, but they still carry a big weight in the. And I could say again, as somebody who merchandises, I know that they have a big stake in this.
Well,
I'm going to say them.
You ready to laugh? M&M's is the heavy favorite over Pepsi Zero.
I understand M&M's is running with their Maya Rudolph campaign, but like you said, I don't know how much advertising M&M's is really going to do when.
But you know what? All right, so let me push back on that. Maybe because of the controversy, maybe they're going to try and go first so that people forget about it and get it out of the way.
That's true.
Well,
that
also
could be why
Pepsi pulled part of its budget back because they're not paying the Super Bowl halftime show anymore. They said they were going to pull part of their budget, so maybe M&M's could be first. Maybe they paid more. We don't know.
I would still pick Doritos over both of these two.
Well, Doritos, I think, is just the prominent brand that makes the funny commercials. So they probably paid a shitload. I don't know. Do we know what the cost was? I think it was $5 million for 30 seconds this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll look it up.
But because you're going to see some commercials where they pay $10 million for a minute commercial, which is insane.
Okay, so the only one I could think of with that was the
7.
7?
Yeah, inflation probably did something with that.
7?
Well,
sorry.
The most famous one, I think, the one that I remember the most from last year was the QR code one. That was a 60-second commercial.
That was the controversial one because they screwed up the commercial.
I actually remember we were talking about that last year. It's amazing how fast it goes by, right?
$7 million for 30 seconds. What the hell? All right. Another one, Popcorners versus Pringles. Does anyone know what Popcorners is?
Popcorners? Okay.
Is that
actually What now?
Popcorn, is that a popcorn brand?
I think so. And
there's like a snack. They're like a snack.
Yeah, well,
I've never heard of them.
The only reason I know Popcorners is advertising is because some of my students have told me that the commercial is going to feature Walter White from Breaking Bad.
That's not a shocker.
Yeah, Popcorners is a kettle corn popped corn snack, and I know that because my mom loves them. So I see it a lot when
I would take Pringles.
I'm gonna go with Popcorners because there's all this hype around Popcorners and Walter White in their commercial.
It's the same odds, so it doesn't matter. They're saying it could be either one. It's 50-50.
By the way, I would never put this much down. I mean, I would never put like a parlay on or whatever. It's too much.
I feel ridiculous just talking about this.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, trust me, it's not over. I have more.
Oh yeah, Billy Mays is the late great Billy Mays is loving this stuff right
Just
now.
wait, there's more.
There's more.
All right, let's see what.
But wait, call right now, and I'll double the offer for just $19.99 plus shipping and handling.
Yeah, I was gonna say just pay a separate fee. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the anthem because we love talking about the national anthem.
This is the one.
So now, as for some reason one of my stories disappeared, but different books have it set up differently. Okay, so some have it as 119.5, one has it at 120.5, one has it at 127.
Oh, I mean, can I grab my wallet now?
I'm assuming you're going to say over, right?
Nick,
I mean, that is only 2 minutes. I'm going to go
Nick,
over.
I mean, a minute, and if they're telling me that the over-under is a minute 19, that is the easiest $10 I can make right now.
No. 119.
Johnny, 119 seconds, so a minute 59.
Minute 59.
Well,
I'd still go over.
That's close. All right, never mind. Let me take that. Let me see this.
Always, so I don't bet. Always over 2 minutes.
It's in the late. Wow.
Yeah. Think about that one for a second, huh?
And who's doing the anthem this year?
I saw who. Well, I know who. Isn't it Stapleton? Chris Stapleton, I think, is doing it. Yeah, the country artist.
Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, country always goes longer, in my opinion. It always goes longer. So I don't know. What do we think about that?
Over.
All right, here we go. I just found a good site here.
For what?
There is a site that actually has the list that they list the Super Bowl national anthem times throughout the years.
Oh God.
So let's take a look at the most recent ones because that's this, and it's really, what's really sad about this is this is like 2 minutes we're supposed to give to the country, and yet we're
betting on it.
Well, of course, but I mean, just the times. Let's see here. I'm just trying to look at the most recent ones. See, look at this. I have times in the past, Super Bowl 21. Super Bowl 21 was Neil Diamond. It was a minute 2.
Oh my! What? Really?
Yep. Here we go. Super Bowl 28. Natalie Cole was 2:33. But let me get some most recent ones here.
Well,
what are we? Let's go. Let's take the last 10 years. How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, that's good.
So, all right. So we're at 57. So let's go. This is okay. So Super Bowl 47 was 154. Then it. All right, I'll just give you the times here from the last 10.
Does it say who did it or no?
Yeah, it does. If you want me to give that, Jordan Sparks one. Yeah. Jordan Sparks one. Well, that's true. It's like a scouting report. Jordan Sparks 154. Jennifer Hudson 210. Carrie Underwood 147. Christina Aguilera 147.
Wow, that's low considering all the long stretch. I mean, not long, short with all the stretched out notes that she uses.
Her. Yeah.
That's where it started, by the way, the prop bets for the national anthem because of all the ridiculous notes she would hold out.
That was Super Bowl 50 was Christina Aguilera. Super Bowl 51, Kelly Clarkson, 134.
Wow.
Here we go. Super Bowl 52, Alicia Keys, 236.
I remember that. She plays piano.
That's right. Yep.
She stretches notes. That makes sense.
All right. Super Bowl 53, Renee Fleming, 203. 54, Adina Menzel, 204. Oh, so guess what, guys? That was not. I'm giving you the wrong numbers. Hang on. Let me try this. Because Super Bowl 50 had no Roman numerals. So let's start. Let's try this again. Super Bowl 50, Lady Gaga, 222. 51, Luke Bryan, 204. 52, Pink, 152. 53, Gladys Knight, 201. 54, Demi Lovato, 149. 55, Jasmine Sullivan and Eric Church, 159. 56, Mickey Guyton, 155. Okay, that was yep. And that's where we're at. So
it's hovering right around the 2-minute mark.
Silly question.
It's actually been
under, but silly question. Okay, when does the timer officially begin? Is it on the Is it on the first musical note?
So I read that they put disclaimers on all the books because they're actually not able to run a timer for it. Like they can't run a timer.
Why the hell are we having bets on this?
They're saying that basically they're going to go back and have to look at it after it's over, essentially.
Stupid.
What's the one you have?
What?
50, what's the number you have?
I said they ranged anywhere from 119.5 to 127 seconds. So they range.
Oh, man.
Most of them I'm seeing 119.5 to 120. So that's 159 2 minutes. That's 1 minute 59 2 minutes.
I'm going to say 203. So I would take the over.
The problem is, like, I feel like with the stupid prop bets, all the books should work together on the prop bets because you're going to get different things for different books. So I wouldn't know. All right, quickly, I'll go through some others. So first song by Rihanna sang at the halftime show. I don't know how many people know Rihanna music here, but
I do.
What are the odds?
So the top favorites are Umbrella, which is
I was going to say Umbrella.
That's her proper. That's one of her big songs.
Umbrella, Disturbia, Don't Stop.
Disturbia.
That Disturbia is not on the list.
Oh what? Man!
Not at least not for the books.
Don't Stop the Music.
That's lower on the list. Not a favorite. We Found Love.
We Found Love. Yep.
Where Have You Been?
Where Have You Been? I know. Yep.
What's My Name? Which is a very popular song for her back in the day.
Yep.
This Is What You Came For. Don't Stop the Music and Rude Boy. I thought.
Rude Boy's an old one. Jeez.
What was the one? Music on My Brain or Music on My Brain or whatever that song was.
I think a more interesting bet would be what songs will she sing and what won't she sing.
Well, Run This Town was one with Jay-Z, so
that was great. Now, actually, you just brought something up. Interesting. Will anyone accompany Rihanna on stage to perform a song with her?
Appearance by Jay-Z for Run This Town or something.
That could be one.
I only know that because of the Knicks, of course.
But it says no odds are available for this. But Billboard posted a survey back in September to see who would be, and another one to watch for is Eminem.
Oh, for the Monster. And
yes.
Love the Way
Monster,
You Lie.
Yeah.
And Love the Way You Lie.
Love the Way You Lie, right. Which is one of my favorites, by the way. How many songs will be played during the halftime show? Over, under 9.5. Both are the same odds. Now, I think they only have, I think it's a 15-minute show, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to say under, unless she does the full song for some of them. Like she'll do a first bridge and chorus and then go into something else.
You're talking about a medley. Yes.
A medley, yeah.
That's what I think they do. I don't remember that
he's going to do a medley.
It used to be way back when you would hear full songs. Now, because of all the commercials and how much they bring in, like they're doing quick, like medleys at the halftime show.
I'm going to say under.
Yeah, so basically, to win the bet on the over, they have to play 10 songs. That's a lot. But what do they consider a song? Is like So once a song is over in a medley, does that count as a song? I don't know.
Any part of a song, yeah, any part of one song, I think is what it is.
I mean,
still 8 is a lot.
Right. I mean, and then they just had other prop bets. What color will Chris Stapleton's hat be?
Oh my goodness gracious!
I mean, like there is some dumb shit out there that, like, if you're a degenerate gambler, you just feel like losing your money, you could just put it out there. All right, should we go to? Should we finish this off and
let's do it? Let's go to the game. So here's what I'm. So guys, position by position, who do we think is better? Quarterback, I think we're all in agreement. Mahomes is the better.
Yeah,
I'd give slight advantage Mahomes. Yes.
Yeah.
Running back, I would give Philadelphia.
I give it to Philly.
Wide receiver, I got to go Philadelphia.
You have to go Philadelphia in receiving. Yes.
Tight end, you have to go Kansas City just for Kelsey alone.
Agree.
Wait, but you were saying, just for the wide receiver for a second, you were saying that technically Kelsey is almost like a dual wide receiver,
but he's
tight end.
Is a tight end.
Exactly.
Plays like a wide receiver though.
Well, yeah, he kind of has to. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if Hill not there anymore. So it's split there. Offensive line, you got to go Philadelphia with their
Philadelphia.
Defensive line, I think you got to go Philadelphia again because
Philadelphia
being such a big question mark.
Yeah.
Special teams.
I'm tempted to say Kansas City.
I am too.
I don't know. That's a tough one. And we've seen in the last a couple Super Bowls, special teams has been major.
Yeah, Philadelphia, I don't recall being a big special teams team.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm going
to. So basically, the question is going to come down to, as we said, can Mahomes and Kelsey get past the Eagles' defense more than collapses against Philadelphia?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I like I said, this is a coin flip spread, which is probably the closest it's been in a long time.
So I guess we'll go person by person. Who wins? Is the spread covered? Is the over-under covered?
And if this updates, we'll put it out on social media tomorrow. Because like Johnny said, it could fluctuate a half point here and there. I don't expect it to go down because that would be a little odd. But
if it has, Nick, if it hasn't changed yet, it won't. I think it's been like this all week. I think the only number that's changed has been the over/under number. I think I saw it at one point it was like 50.5, and now it's 51. But I mean, it's been 1.5 all week.
All right. Well, since we're towards the end of the show, here we go. Final prediction. Final word. Who should I start it off with?
I'll start first because for the last time this year, it is in fact a Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi special, Super Bowl special on the NFL on Fox. And I'm gonna go here first. I like I said to you during the show. To me, the biggest matchup in this game to watch is the Chiefs' offensive line against this Eagles' defensive line. Kansas City has had some struggling moments in the playoffs this year. Philly's had a very favorable path to the Super Bowl, and I think it continues here. So I'm going to take the Eagles to win and cover. And let's say final score here. I'm going to say Philly 31 and Kansas City 31-24. So I will take the Eagles in the over. And you know what? In this day and age, it is very, very rare. I know last year was one of those rare times that the Super Bowl MVP is not a quarterback. So Eagles win and cover, and I say Jalen Hurts is going to be your Super Bowl MVP.
Interesting. By the way, just so people know, the Eagles are considered the home team this year, just so people, in clarification, understand.
The home team thing,
yeah. Hank?
This is a tough one for me because you guys know I normally lean towards the quarterback and the head coach, right?
Right.
And, if you take the quarterback and the head coach out of the equation, then this would be an easy pick. And I wanted to go with the Chiefs for like a long time, but just the more I think about it and the more I see what's going on, this is going to kill me to say this. I think the Eagles are going to win this game.
Oh, wow. Didn't see that one coming.
I know, trust me. I don't take any pleasure, and you know damn well I hope that I'm absolutely wrong. I do not want to be right in picking those scumbags.
What is your score, Hank?
The fact of the matter is the Eagles just have a really strong team. I'm not 100% confident in the health of Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to go with a final score of 37-33 Philadelphia.
Ooh, high-scoring one.
High-scoring.
Wow, you're talking about 70 points each.
Yep,
right?
70.
It's going to be a high-scoring game.
And who's your MVP?
Oh, MVP? I'm going to go with A.J. Brown.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I think that would be low on the odds list. You make a lot of money if that were the case.
True.
Oh, never mind. You don't have the slot machine, but yeah, I guess you could play the cha-ching. There we go.
All right, who's going now? Well, Tom froze at the moment. I guess so. I guess I'll go.
Go for it, Nick.
I'm here.
Oh, you got it. Okay, good. Go.
All right, let me try to go quick as I can before my internet cuts out again. Yeah, the Eagles seem to have just the better team on paper, and ultimately, as I said, it's going to come down to the defenses, and the Chiefs' defense is pretty weak. However, the Eagles' defense also hasn't been able to, have a battle with anybody like a Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and that sort of combination. So I'm thinking about it. I know Mahomes' health is a little bit in question, but Hank, whereas you are giving in, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I can't pick the Eagles for whatever reason because of my probably Giants bias. But as Nick Morgasen, you had said this too. Experience also matters, and Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day is a championship quarterback. We have not seen that yet from Jalen Hurts. So here's what I'm going to say: Chiefs 33, Eagles 29. That is going to be. I think it's going to be high scoring as well, but I think the Chiefs defense may be able to hold out just a little bit more. And Patrick Mahomes is your MVP.
Wait, so you said 33-29?
33-29.
Hank, is that a scoregami in the Super Bowl? Is that a scoregami score? Hank's gonna go look that up now.
I think we're losing Hank now all of a sudden.
But because I saw a bet, I forgot to mention it in the prop bets. Scoregami score plus 2,000. So if you put so someone's gonna bet on that. But while he's looking that up, this is going to be an interesting game all the way down the stretch. Mahomes definitely has more of the experience over Jalen Hurts. We all know Mahomes
would not be a scoregami. It's only happened twice before.
In the Super Bowl?
No, in NFL history. That was a score when the Chiefs beat the Browns in Week 1 of the 21 season.
Oh, no. The prop bet is scoregami for the Super Bowl.
Oh, 33-29's never happened in the Super Bowl.
So
the only other time it happened was in an AFL game in 1962.
So, Tom, you're predicting a Super Bowl scoregami.
Well, the only thing I'll say to that is if that's specifically saying in the Super Bowl a scoregami, that the score has never been in a Super Bowl game, that's kind of favorable. If you're talking about scoregami in general, because that means you only have 56 prior games, and a lot of those really probably have been kind of on the similar side
because you have weird plays happen in the Super Bowl. I mean, but
let's face it, it's either going to be a competitive game or it's going to be a one-sided blowout for the Eagles, and I'm just hoping that it's a competitive game.
Yeah, I hope it's a competitive. I hope Mahomes is healthy because that's the only way the Chiefs are really going to win this game. I think Kelce's going to come out and ball. I think that's going to be a fun matchup to watch the Kelce brothers up against one another. That was another prop bet as well. This was probably the strangest prop bet I saw. Rushing yards for Travis Kelce versus the amount of snaps Jason Kelce snaps. That was another prop bet that was out there. I like the Chiefs. I just think the experience plays. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is just not thrown for more than 130 yards all playoffs. That's a concern to me because he hasn't really had to come out and play for the bag. So I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking the upset. Yes, I'm taking the upset over the 1.5. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be like 30. I guess, like Hank said, maybe like. Well, I think it even might be higher. I think it'd be like 40 to like 33 or something. Wow. I think it would be high. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I don't think defense is going to be played in this game.
See, I do want to make an interesting point with that. If this ends up being, let's say, a high scoring shootout kind of game, I actually think that benefits Kansas City.
It does because Mahomes is going to take more chances.
Mahomes likes playing high scoring shootout games. So that's another thing I think in Philadelphia, if you want to shoot for Philadelphia, and obviously I'm the one that picked probably the lowest scoring game, but still kind of decent scoring in this one. But I think it would be wise in Philadelphia's favor to actually be playing a lower scoring kind of battle in this one.
Absolutely.
Well, that's easier said than done. But
but I mean, long sustainable drives. One of the things like we've talked about all the time with Tom Brady is one of the things you could do to keeping Tom Brady off the field is a big thing. Maybe keeping Mahomes off the field and putting together a long, sustainable drive, which I think Philadelphia is more capable of doing than Kansas City because of their running attack. I think that's a very key to success too. So if it does end up being a very high scoring shootout kind of game, I think it actually favors Kansas City. Something on the lower end, I think, is more favorable for the Chiefs. I mean, for the Eagles.
I think. Well, and I would answer the last question. Tom was going to say, if they win, obviously Mahomes is going to be the MVP. That's just the way it goes. They win with him, or they lose without him.
Right. Well, I was going to be my question is considering all the hype that we're going with. I mean, ETB taking the Chiefs, game on taking the Eagles. If Patrick Mahomes is able to get past this kind of Eagles team and win his second ring. And considering all I said that, ever since he's been the starting quarterback, he hasn't gone any lower than the conference championship game. What does winning this second ring against a team like the Eagles, where as dominant as they are, mean for Patrick Mahomes and his legacy?
Automatic Hall of Famer? That's pretty much what it says.
It still hasn't played long enough, though. I mean, it helps, but I mean, longevity kind of. I mean, you got to play more than 6 years, though. To
2 Super Bowl rings if you win.
I understand that.
I mean, I think 2 Super Bowls. I think one even gets you in automatically almost at times.
Nick, didn't I make the argument that if you chop up Tom Brady's career in thirds, you'd still get 3 Hall of Famers?
No, actually somebody. I think it was Field Yates who put out his 20s, 30s, and 40s career, and they were all Hall of Fame worthy.
Which is so crazy. You're never going to see that again. You will never see that again.
It's so difficult. So that's why even look at Mahomes. I mean, probably he's the closest thing, and this is only his 3rd Super Bowl that he's been at. And let's say he gets there. Let's say he doesn't win this. He's still got 1 ring out of the 3. So not to take anything away, but it just also goes to show you how unbelievable Brady was.
It's all about legacy. Legacy determines your career, your life. If you're going to be in the Hall of Fame, Mahomes is going to win. I mean, if he wins, he'll have 2. I think they're finally starting to retool. And by the way, I don't know who said it here, but Tyreek Hill, who? I mean,
that's why I think this year is probably the most remarkable of his run, because he lost a lot. I mean, he had going into the season a very, very at times challenging AFC West, and look what he's been able to do.
Right. This would be the more impressive Super Bowl ring for him, I think, over the first. Now, everyone obviously is happy when they win their first one, but this one would be a hard-fought win against an Eagles team that's definitely very competitive.
Absolutely. I mean, I think about that with Eli Manning. Both rings were impressive, and they were both impressive in different ways. So
I'm surprised we didn't see a prop bet for the Philly special.
There probably is one out there somewhere. I mean,
there wasn't. I looked all over the place for it. They don't have it. That was probably. I know I'm talking to 3 Giants fans here, but the Philly special was probably one of the coolest plays of all time.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, there's no arguing about that.
But I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Annoying, but you know what? I mean, like I said, it's annoying what Philadelphia sports is doing. I mean, the fact that they're in their second championship game in 4 months. I mean, but you have to respect it.
Right.
Got to be better. That's all.
Yeah. we'll see what happens. The big game, obviously, tomorrow, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox, and
Yeah.
you have all the others. I mean, did you talk about all the other platforms they were on, or no, Johnny?
Oh, I mean, if you want me to rattle off 30 names, but yeah, I mean, they'll be on. There's an international feed. There's a regular feed. There's Westwood One. There's
and just not to frustrate people. And Johnny and I have talked about this a lot when it comes to the coverage of the game. Yes, if you're looking for long, ridiculous coverage, it starts at noon on Fox.
Well, again, I said it on ETB. You got a pregame show, pre-pregame show, a pre-pre-pregame show, a pre-pre-pre-pregame show.
To the pregame show.
Yeah. I think I'll be breaking off and tuning into the Puppy Bowl at some point.
Hey, fortunately for me, selfishly, I got to work in the morning, and then I'm going to take a nap, and then I'll be ready by 5 o'clock, and then that's when the real fun begins. I always say working Super Bowl Sunday is the best day to work because you need something to pass the time. I always know that the two runs, the three giant Super Bowls that I saw, I mean, that the day of is always the longest day until you get to the game.
Right. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, Westwood 1 is starting at 2 p.m. from what I understand.
That's late.
Yeah, but that's still...
no, I know, but I mean, compared to other ones, yeah.
It's still freaking, 4.5 hours leading up to the game? Who needs that much coverage? No one.
If you're tuning in for the first time all week, then it's worth it. But, I mean, if you're following along all week leading up to the game, which I know we have to for us, it's much.
My family and I, we literally tune in at 6:15.
Yeah.
I don't need all this extra bullshit that they air at noon.
I'll be honest with you, I will not be watching the TV until I get to my friend's house at about 5 tomorrow. So absolutely.
That works fine. I mean, because some people will tune in an hour before just to see what's happening before the game.
Last minute things that happen. You never know if there's any breaking news that develops. I mean, that's
or the degenerate gamblers tune in an hour before if they haven't put their bets in.
Oh, God. There's
that my phone will not stop ringing off the hook.
Hey Nick, how about I give you a basketball thing to the
combos, right?
No, a news story that might tick you off.
I thought this was a Super Bowl stream. You're really going to get me annoyed now?
I want to.
His face looks like it's just calmed down from Aaron Rodgers. Bring it back up again, right?
Okay. According to Evan Roberts from The Fan, I hear the Brooklyn Nets will have a tribute video to James Harden tonight. An incredibly tone-deaf move by a franchise that has no self-respect. Hopefully they rectify this mistake before they make it tonight.
Who gives up? Okay, I'm going to stop. My F word usage has been too high on this live stream.
If I can shamelessly plug Hank and myself, we will discuss all things NBA. We'll obviously look back at the Super Bowl and a lot more coming up on Game On Tuesday, which will be up
back together.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, and then in a couple of weeks you probably won't have me again. But
but you're more consistent, hopefully.
Well, look, as I said, I'm good. Just reality gets in the way sometimes. But we'll be back on Tuesday at 7. And I mean, we've got so much to get into between obviously the Super Bowl, between the NBA trade deadline, big Ranger news that we got to discuss. And, even this week, some news with Roger Goodell, which we'll touch on. I mean, there's so much. I mean, best thing to do is, on YouTube, youtube.com/ETB network, hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe, and of course, hit that notification bell so you know when we're going to be on and stuff.
Yeah, and same thing for us. Obviously, God, my phone will not stop ringing. Everyone's looking for me now.
Change your number to 867-5309.
Oh, Jenny, yes, my '80s friends who I'm going to see tomorrow are going to love that.
All right.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Nick, you're good. Myself and Nick Morgasen will discuss all the Super Bowl. We'll recap the Super Bowl. We'll talk about some awards. We'll talk some NBA trade deadline, the Rangers move. We'll talk about some news happening in college basketball. And we'll talk all that and more on Empty the Bench, which is now on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific.
Yes. So the showtime's not changing, just the day. It's a day later. And I told Tom, actually, this is good because going into the football season, that Thursday might be better. So, because you're right up against all the games coming up for the week. So it'll probably be for the better. So
it'll be good with 3 straight days of sports stuff with us on Tuesday, Tom and Zane on Wednesday, and then you guys on Thursday. That's the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, more sports.
More sports. And that's not counting also all the fruity cereal on Monday. 5 more minutes.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much stuff happening. As I said, our YouTube channel is growing. YouTube.com/ETB network. Constantly hitting 1,000 to 2,000 views on YouTube Shorts, which I've learned a whole heck of a lot that they've basically copied TikTok. So make sure you check this stream out. This will be on re-air Sunday. We'll just check the lines just to make sure if they're up to date. We will update them, and we'll put out a scheduled social media post with our picks again, just so you can see it all the way up to the game. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. Is there anything else to add or no?
Well, I'll just also say, everybody have a great time. Enjoy the game. Be
Stay
safe.
safe.
Be responsible. Because you know what? I mean, we want to enjoy many, many more. Look, I know that I still got to get up early on Monday. So
don't drink and drive, please. We stress that.
But have fun, but also do it responsibly. That's all.
Because I guarantee you the bars are going to be massively wild tomorrow.
Before your phone goes off, before my internet goes out again, I think it's time.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
The sports show, they're calling Nick to get on the air.
Oh God, no. The Pope has spoken.
That's right.
Back up to this, which is the Super Bowl.
Back up to this.
Oh God! All right, you want to close this out, Tom, and then I'll put up the close when we're done.
Okay. For Nick Morgasen, for Johnny Montalbano, for Hank Indictor, on Tom Albano. Enjoy the game, guys. Enjoy your Super Bowl. We'll see you afterwards, later in the week. Until then, take care. Enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you later, friends.